guys, it's Kelly from Cards by Christine here with you on a Technique Thursday to share with you some dauber techniques. So kind of using a dauber to using a dauber to stamp your stamp, to ink your stamp, and then also to kind of give a tie-dye type effect. So I'm showing off here the cards from the Soft Seedlings card class, and I'm going to utilize them to show you how to do this technique. So here I'm going to kind of lay them around so you can look at them while I'm stamping along here. And, oh, this one's sideways. Here we go. Okay, so those are the cards. Now let's bring in our foam pad. And we're just using a piece of scrap paper here because you can see how beautiful they are there. But in making these cards, we recognized that our ink pads were really juicy, and when there's so many fine details, this is a distinctive stamp, so there's all this like stippling that makes the variation of light and dark all with just one stamp pad. In using that type of distinctive stamp, a really juicy stamp pad will really suck in those elements and you won't see the beautiful details. So to eliminate that, we're going to use a sponge dauber. And in using a sponge dauber, now we have the flexibility of adding multiple colors and adding some additional like details and texture too. So this one stamp, and you can see it even here on how it's printed on the back of the stamp, like you barely can see the details in here because it's just so thick and rich. So we're going to emulate these cards first. So that's going to be Cajun Craze on the leaf, and then crumb cake, or you could use a different color for the brown down here too. So let's open up those stamp pads first. So move some of these out of the way. Open up our Cajun Craze, and then you're going to put the sponge dauber on your finger. And I like to, usually when I use this, I will go towards the corner and pull the ink from there. So now we're just going to be daubing on the leaf and the first part of the stem here. Slowly tapping the color into the stamp. On the red rubber, you can see where you've gone. So you can see where you have to go yet. It's kind of hard for me to show you that there, but like you can see here that I've done this much, so I can tell that I have that much to go yet. So we're going to just keep going until we fill in the whole stamp. Then once we're done with that, we're going to pull in our crumb cake. Ooh, let's not... have some dominoes. I'm trying to fill in some space over there without getting ink on everything. Okay, so now we're going to open our crumb cake. Same technique. We're going to go towards the corner, and now we're going to just put that on the little helicopters. I love this stamp set so much. I am so drawn to everything nature. It's kind of my jam. Okay, so now we've got the whole shebang stamped in. You can flip it over and stamp, and now look how clean of a stamp image we get. So you can see all the beautiful variety of textures. You can see the nice clean lines. It stamps so clean. It's beautiful. So that's one thing. Now I'm going to show you another way to add some more detail. I like to call it kind of tie-dyeing, and I'll show you that in just a second. We're going to switch color schemes here. We're going to move to this greenish one using mint macaron, and you could either use soft suede or I'm going to use crumb cake because that is what I have out, but in the sample we've got soft suede. Okay, so I'm going to close up the Cajun Craze and open the mint macaron. Okay, so now for this one, I'm going to bring the mint in the leaf. Okay. Then, just like the last one, I'm going to bring the crumb cake in on the helicopter, but I'm also going to bring some over the mint that we have on the leaf. Okay, so now I've covered the whole stamp, and now I'm gonna bring some in over here to kind of like rust the edges. Okay, so now this is gonna be a surprise. You have no clue what it's gonna look like because you can't tell on the red what is gonna look like what. Oh, I love it. Okay, so you get the greenish color, but it also blends in and pulls in some of that crumb cake. I went a little heavy on this, whereas on the sample card, kept it more towards the edges and left more of that green to peek through. Both ways look beautiful. And the more you do it, the more different ways you can try it to see if you like more of the green, more of the brown, more of a mixture. And I'm gonna try one more now with a different color scheme, just for kicks and giggles, because it is fall. It is my favorite time of the year. It feels like you can't make a leaf card without pulling in some crushed curry. It's funny, crushed curry and Cajun craze, for me personally, I'm just speaking for myself, really only get used this time of year. They like get used and abused this time of year, but then the rest of the year they like sit there completely untouched. Do you notice that as well? And maybe for you it's not those two colors, it's different colors, and maybe it's different time of year too. But for me, those are the colors that really get neglected up until fall. And then the rest of the year, they just sit there sad. Okay, so let's pull those to the side. I'm gonna pull in crushed curry and Cajun craze. Now, let's get that open. For this one, just for kicks and giggles, I'm not going to use a sponge for the first round. No. You start with the light color and you bring the darker color in. So for this one, I'm going to start with Cajun craze because that is the light color. Yellow is lighter than orange. Excuse me, I said that wrong. I'm gonna start with the crushed curry because the crushed curry is the yellow color. Now I'm gonna ink it all up. This one's not as juicy as the other ones, like I was saying earlier, so I felt comfortable bringing it straight onto the stamp without using the dauber to bring it in. Now I'm going to open up my Cajun craze. Again, I'm going to use the dauber. Going to pull from the corner and just layer it in lightly on the edges. So I don't want to go as overboard as I did last time. You're going to get a beautiful mixture. Sometimes I'll daub off to get some of that yellow tone out so that you don't get too much of that mixed in. All right, again, it's a crapshoot. You don't know what it's gonna look like. There's no way of knowing. So once you feel like you've got enough, go ahead and stamp it down. Oh, that is gorgeous. Now, this is a great way to show you the difference between daubing it on and just putting the stamp pad right on it. Even though the stamp pad wasn't super juicy, it still really floods in those details. And look at the difference in the details on these helicopters. So, great idea, great technique to bring that color on these distinctive stamps in using a dauber. So, what do you think? Here's the first one. We just used Cajun Craze and Crumb Cake just to put the 2 different colors on. We didn't bring any additional color in on that leaf, but it does look pretty flat. Then on the next one, completely different, we brought in mint macaron and frosted the edges with Crumb Cake. Admittedly, went a little overboard, didn't leave enough of that mint peeking through, but that's okay. It's a different look. And then here we have our crushed curry with our, oh my gosh, I'm blanking. Cajun Craze. Oh my goodness. I'm like, I lost it. I completely lost it. This one's my favorite, although I do really like the green. The green was really unexpected for me. When I saw Chris design these 2 cards, it was completely like nothing I would have thought of with this stamp, but I love it so much. But here, my affinity towards fall and towards this color scheme, I'm really digging on this yellow-orange pattern. I was gonna try one more. Okay, for kicks and giggles, let's do one more. We're gonna bring in cherry cobbler as well. So I'm gonna try, without getting too overwhelming, I'm gonna try to do crushed curry, a little bit of cherry cobbler, and our Cajun Craze. So it's gonna kind of be the Mac Daddy. All right, just lightly bringing in our crushed curry. Then we're gonna daub in some Cajun Craze. Easy to get heavy with this, so I'm very intentionally trying not to put too much. And then I think I'm even going to do Cajun on the helicopters. It's gonna look really weird with the yellow stem, but it's just scrap paper. It's just to try it out, so I'm okay with that. All right, so we're gonna close that one up, and then we're gonna add some cherry cobbler for a real fall treat. Oh, that one was, okay, this one is my cherry cobbler. So you don't want to mix the daubers. If you're very close in a color family, you can probably mix a little bit, but got a bunch of daubers going. They're nice and inexpensive, so you don't need to worry about having a bunch of them on hand. It's nice because once you clean them, they're wet, so you don't want to be dependent on having to use it right away again, because it does need the appropriate time to dry. And you know what? Seeing as how I've got the cherry cobbler, I'm just going to cover up the stem because it will look better in red than it would in yellow. All right, here we go. Gotta see what this one looks like. Oh, that's my favorite. That looks amazing. So when I started, I said something about tie-dye. This is that tie-dye effect. So we've got the yellow blending into the orange and even the red, and then some yellowy orange and then red down here. And you'll never, ever be able to replicate it. Like, you'll never have 2 that look the same, which is really fun and surprising too. So I love it. Okay, so there is our inking with sponge daubers and our tie-dye effect, kind of blending the colors together. So have you ever done that before? If not, give it a try. Best time of year. I mean, obviously you could do it on flowers and all sorts of different things, but leaves and fall are the best time of year to try it. And you will never catch a fall. I shouldn't say that because I can't project into the future, but you probably will never catch a fall where I don't do the baby wipe technique. So check back next week where I will be using the baby wipe technique. 'Tis the season, I have to do it. But I also want to show off the rest of these cards. I kind of had them latently laying down here, but I want to show them off because at this point in time, we do have some of these kits available. Gotta close that. How many times have you dropped a card in an open ink pad? Don't tell me I'm the only one that's done it. It can't be. So gotta put that away. So here's one. This is our Fun Fold variety with our Cajun Craze and our Early Espresso. So beautiful. I love it. Here's our standard 4.25 by 5.5. Oh, look at that thank you on the inside. So pretty. Okay, so there's that one. Now we're gonna switch color palettes completely. And this is my favorite card from the whole class. I just love it oh so much. We've got the beautiful tie-dye effect down here, and then the asymmetrical edging over here. I think that's why I like it the most, to be honest with you. Then you open it up and you've got just the cute little helicopter on the bottom. So this one's my favorite, copper leaf. Then we've got our hello, similar layout, similar color scheme. I should say similar concept, similar color scheme. Different layout. Got this focal image on a circle here, and then the hello on a tag. Open that one up, similar helicopter on the inside. So if these cards are your jam and you really love them, reach out, contact information down here, to see if there are any kits available. They are great. You're gonna love it. So I hope you guys have a wonderful Technique Thursday, and you can catch Chris later today.